So, finally got to see Zootopia. After, after months had it come out, I've now finally sat down and watched Zootopia. I gotta say, at first I was like, it's overhyped, there's been so much behind it. Nah, the hype is deserving. The hype is, the hype is very deserving for this film. Now, the plot's, I wouldn't say simple. It's not simple, but it is that kind of, it's a girl who has to fight the system with a can-do attitude and prove that she's all that. At the same time, it really handles, really heavy-handed, well, I wouldn't say heavy-handed, but it really does lay on, this movie's about racism. It is about racism told through animals. And, there are some really, oh my god moments in here. There are just some really heart-wrenching, just, wow, they went there kind of moments. The main characters, Judy and Nick, are very likable. I really do enjoy those characters, especially Nick. He's like a furry Han Solo, that kind of wisecracking, streetwise, acting all tough and hiding the feelings inside. In fact, whenever him and Judy are, working together, I almost get the sense of, man, did they just watch Empire Strikes Back and just have, just write? Because, no, really, it feels like Nick and Judy do feel like Han and Leia working together. It really does feel like seeing a furry version of Han and Leia together. And it's hilarious. But no, Nick's backstory's really... I was like, oh, the feels on Nick's backstory. I was really like, oh, that's tragic. There's really not much I could say about this movie that, it was a lot of fun. The voice work was great. It's always cool to see, J.K. Simmons in something, and Idris Elba was cool as Chief Bongo. There are some really funny moments. I really love the fence fox. I forget the fence fox's name, but when they're hustling everybody, and then when Judy plays Nick, he just starts busting out laughing. He's like, you a cop now! Yeah. The animation in this story is a lot of fun. It's probably some of the best animation I've seen in a Disney film, like a CGI Disney film, I've seen in a while. There are just some really beautiful scenes in here. What is interesting, what I find is that, there's all this predator and prey stuff with a lot of with all mammals. I'm kind of wondering, if we do a Zootopia 2, could we explore maybe other animals in the animal kingdom? Not just mammals, because they really lay on mammals. They never once talk about reptiles or birds. So I'd like to see maybe somewhere in this universe. And this is just an idea that will never happen. But this is my idea for a Zootopia 2. It'll never happen because Disney will say no to it in a heartbeat. I'm going to go on a tangent, but then I'll get right back to the review. But this is the kind of the idea I would do for a Zootopia 2. Here you go. What I'd like to do for a Zootopia 2 is maybe have birds and reptiles in there. And the mammals are kind of like the higher class. The birds are like second class, but they keep to themselves. Birds are very xenophobic, and they live in a giant sky city. There's high above the clouds of everyone. There's this giant kingdom for birds. You've got all these different types of birds living together, much like it's like an avian version of Zootopia, and it's this giant castle in the sky, or do some Hayao Miyazaki shit. I don't know. And then you've got reptiles who live in badlands. They live in swampy areas. They're like the bottom of the food chain. Reptiles are very much we're hated by everybody just because we're cold-blooded. We're cold-blooded, and mammals hate us. Birds don't care about us, and we want to take it back. So what it would be is you have reptiles who are now kind of being led by maybe a crocodile or a Komodo dragon who's just hey, look, Zootopia, all of them, those mammals, they gotta go. We deserve, we have rights too. We deserve as much respect as they do. So let's go tear it down. So this character would be the Bane. Would be a lot like Bane from Dark Knight Rises, where his whole thing is that he's gonna tear Zootopia down from the ground up, and prove that mammals can be knocked down off the food chain, and that reptiles are like the real superpower. So something like that, like this big, Zootopia's falling, reptiles are on the rise, they're pissed off, they're justifiably pissed off because, oh yeah, predators and prey now live in peace and harmony in the world of Zootopia, in that universe, but reptiles, screw them, no, they're cold-bloods, they're just, they don't look like us, they don't act like us, they need sun to live, they're bad. Don't trust a cold blood. And that would be kind of like, that's what the mammals would call them. They'd call them cold bloods. And yeah, the reptiles would refer them as warm bloods. And you'd have that kind of still, that xenophobia and that racism is still kind of there. Now that, the mammals are all kind of like, yeah, peace and harmony between predators and prey, but fuck those reptiles, right? So that's kind of the thing. And I would also have that throughout this whole, like, quote-unquote reptile revolution, you have reptiles who are among them who are like, look, we're not a part of this. We didn't want to be part of this extremist group. You see where I'm going? You told the story of racism, now let's talk about, the other form of it. So you got this other group of, you've got this reptile, quintessentially like a reptile version of the IRA running around. And then you have Judy and Nick encounter other reptiles who are very much like, look, we're not like that guy. We're not like the Komodo dragon or whatever villain you want to have for this. We're not like him. We don't support him. Please don't compare us to him and his agenda. So that's kind of what I would really play with. Now that we're really doing more species-esque stuff with it, I think that would be a lot of fun to really do. So that's it'll never happen because obviously I would just have a lot of, like, street fighting between, this big riots and all that with reptiles just burning Zootopia to the ground. Like, you just see buildings coming down and all that. Just shit like that. That's never going to happen. Disney will not do that. We probably will get a Zootopia too, I'm just saying. As successful as this movie has been, we're getting a Zootopia too. But if you got cojones, Disney, do that story. Do a reptile rising story, or reptile revolution, or whatever you want to friggin' call it. Anyway, sorry for that, but I just wanted to get that out of the way, because there's not really much. Here's the thing of why I just spent a whole thing, mostly of this video, talking about a sequel, because really, there's not much else to say about this movie that has been said, other than, go see this movie, really. It's, that's kind of the thing, is that it's really more, everything I've wanted to say about this movie has already been said, and said better, about this film. Because, yeah, not to say that's a bad thing about it, it's just that I have nothing to add to what has already been mentioned at this point, because, yeah, all the reviewers have pretty much said all the same things that I've said. So that's why I just decided, you know what, fuck it, I'll just talk about what I'd like to see in a sequel, more than a review itself, so... Here you go, boys! Here you go, boys and girls. There you go, boys and girls. This, it was more of talking about a sequel than it was a review. I will say that we're having, this does follow the recent Disney films of severe lack of cool Disney villains. I mean, the assistant mayor being kind of like, going Breaking Bad on everybody. Alright, cool. But it was a cool little mystery, too. I really did dig the mystery behind this whole story of what the Night Howlers were, and it was almost like a scarecrow kind of thing, wasn't it? Only except you're not full of fear, you just turn into a wild animal, so... I guess maybe Bane Venom? I don't know. So something like that really is really that's really all I can add. Other than, yeah, this was a fun movie. All the jokes were pretty great. I did like the subtle movie references here and there, and not so subtle movie references. The characters were all great. But yeah, this kind of runs the whole thing of we're missing severe, we're still running that gambit of severe lack of Disney villains. When's the last time we had a very memorable? Don't say what's his face from Frozen, because that dude just came out of nowhere of just being the villain because they needed a bad guy. Nothing there. So the last time we had a credible Disney villain was Dr. Facilier, really? Dr. Facilier, yeah, from Princess and the Frog. I think that was the last time we had a major Disney villain. So, well, King Candy, too, but... Yeah, I guess you could count King Candy. Yeah, maybe King Candy. I don't know, like, the reason why I bring up whenever I talk about a new Disney film, I always bring up the Disney villains, because, yeah, Disney was best known for having the best villains in animation. Yeah, when you think Disney, what do you think first? Did you think the villains? I thought so. Anyway, but all in all, again, not much else I can say about Zootopia, other than if you haven't seen it already, go check it out. Also, I ship Nick and Judy so hard. Like, it is so frickin' adorable. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.